G'day everyone, I'm Dave. Thanks for joining me. Now, today's a bit of an interesting one. I have been burning the midnight oil instead of singing with midnight oil, so to speak. But yeah, what I've been doing is a lot of coding and it's speaking to a lot of people and trying to get the message across. When I go into meetings, we tend to have a whiteboard where we scribble all sorts of things down. And so people have been saying, look, I need some sort of presentation to give to my team. So I came up with an online PowerPoint presentation. I want to just show you one to basically cover the area that I'm talking about how LLMs are very important, and to be able to be found on an LLM, you need to be able to have citations and so forth. So I've created a presentation. So what I wanted to do today was really just show people the presentation. I think it's the best way I can try and explain. It's got graphs and charts. We can flow through the presentation, but in between there's me talking, explaining the charts and graphs. So if your company is interested and you've got a team that need explaining to, yes, feel free to contact me and I can do one for your business as well. Okay, so we'll go down here now and we'll have a look. So down here we can see this is the online presentation. I will put my head right down here so I'm hardly even noticeable. In fact, what I'll do is I'll disappear. You don't need me here because I'm going to be in the middle. All right, so basically the presentation, this company is Pacifica Yachts. And it explains to them that their AI assistant that could be created is basically available for their business to use. So this shows their sales team and other guys that are involved with their marketing how the system actually works. So I've made it as a slideshow. We can progress to the next slide. So we can see there I cover the key points. But instead of me talking, what I'll do is I'll be me talking. So just to get the presentation started, I'm Dave, and I just wanted to put in some video just to explain some of the charts and also explain the concepts. So just as a recap, as a brief introduction as to what this presentation will cover, it will cover the big change in traditional search to LLM search, and also the effectiveness of your current advertising and where to start to look at changing that because it is changing very rapidly. And also the AI assistance, and particularly the way it answers and recommends is very different to traditional search. So you can see from the chart on the left that the traditional, say, marketing of Google ads and Facebook ads are starting to diminish, where guided conversational search and recommendations by AI assistants and LLMs is becoming the dominant. Now, this shift is happening very fast. There's no exact timeline, but you can see from the chart, this is the effect that's happening. So you can see from this chart here, and the question is, do Google and Facebook ads still work? Well, yes, in the short term, yes, they work quite effectively, but the market is changing so rapidly. So initially, if you look at traditional search, where people would go to your website, they would have to find the information. So initially, they need to find your site. So no 10 blue links anymore, as they say. You do a Google search now, you've got the AI responses, you've got YouTube videos, there's all sorts of other clutter. And so people aren't just using Google anymore. That is massively declining with the uptake of ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Gemini, all these LLMs that people are becoming attached to. So the traditional Google search is now diminishing rapidly, and that has already been happening. Secondly, now if you take Facebook, now Facebook is heavily dependent on imaging and also referrals from friends, which is true. So the referral side will continue to remain strong. But videos now, with the advent of Nano Banana and all the current video editing tools and image creation tools, videos are just becoming white noise. They're still useful for the final purchase section of any product, but not just for general advertising anymore. We are going to just turn off images because we know they're fake, but we're not going to turn off recommendations by our AI assistants. So this is what this chart basically shows, that referrals and recommendations are growing, and that the traditional Google search and Google ads, Facebook ads are starting to diminish rapidly because they're just not effective at all, as LLMs take over a huge slice and will continue to take over, and particularly with the agentic web on the rise, where it'll only be agents visiting your site, not necessarily humans, and people will interact with machines via voice. They'll talk to their AI assistant. Their AI assistant will do the research, come back and recommend the product. This is why you need your own AI assistant to be able to assist your customers, but also, as we'll see in the next slide, the after effects of having your own AI assistant. Okay, and you can see the chart here represents the flow of the customer interaction. So the customer comes to the AI assistant and asks the AI assistant, which can retrieve the information, and that information can be guided by you to answer any way you want, depending on the initial question and the continuation of the conversation. Remember, the AI is engaging your clients in conversation. It's not just you having to search for the information. So if someone asks for a particular product, it can show that particular product, and it can recommend that particular product, and it can continue the conversation. So it's a very, very effective form of engagement for your users. Okay, so this slide is really important. So initially you have your AI assistant set up on your website for questions and answers. It is trained fully on your knowledge. You can word the questions the way you want. You can change the questions to lead the client in a particular direction. It's a very strong tool. You can change the personality of the AI assistant. This is all what people are expecting. It's good to have a personalized AI assistant, so that's why you don't just have a company AI assistant, you call it a name. And then also you'll see the most important thing now is capturing the conversation from your clients. So initially when you set up your AI assistant, you seed the field, you seed the future by asking questions. These questions are posted on individual pages in individual categories. So for example, you might have 100 or 200 pages on your product. And those pages basically contain questions and answers that are initially researched and asked, and they're not general questions. So the LLMs know about your product. They know about the type of product and what the product does. What you need to do is explain why your product's the best, how you can purchase your product, what people are doing with your product. And this is the line of questioning. Then what happens is, as your clients start to ask questions, you are building up a massive community of questions that are published that become very valuable, because LLMs will look and find these questions on your site for citations about the product that you are trying to sell, or the product you're trying to promote, or your brand. Okay. Continuing on from the previous slide, the citations are incredibly important, because basically the AI doesn't just go to Google. And I've used the analogy whereby if the AI searching for the answer to find your brand comes across 10 people shouting and screaming that have got Google ads, another 10 that have got Facebook ads, it is not interested in those. It will search, it will find smaller directory sites, it will find other recommendations, mentions of your product across the entire internet in a second. It is amazing the speed and popularity that you can now generate authority without having the old-fashioned backlinks and everything else. That is all changed. The AI is not interested in that. The AI is seeking the truth, and that's very, very important. The only way you can be in the conversation is to own the conversation. And just to reiterate, this is very, very important. Now, you take 10 people that ask Google or Bing or any of the other search engines a question, and 8 of those people will probably get the same answers, because it is just a person asking a question to a already trained closed environment algorithm. AI does not work that way. AI is not interested. It is not a closed algorithm. It, yes, can be manipulated to answer certain questions, but basically what it does, if you ask it a question, number one, it will give a truthful answer for the information it can find. But what's happening now is people are using their own LLMs and their own AI assistants that know them. So let's say you've got 10 people and they ask exactly the same question to exactly the same LLM, say ChatGPT, you will get 10 different answers because ChatGPT knows what you are about, knows the questions, knows your history. So you are no longer have one question, one simple source of truth. The truth will be found by the LLM, and the LLMs are trained on conversation. And now imaging is becoming so easy to mass produce, it will become white noise. What the most important thing is the recommendation by the agent. If somebody recommends something to you, you have 300%, as they say, more chance of someone purchasing than when they need to find the information themselves. When it's recommended by their own personal trusted agent, that's when the purchasing becomes huge, because you are leading buyer intent. You know that the buyer wants to purchase. The AI assistant knows the buyer wants to purchase. So this is why your line of questioning in your conversation is not just general in nature all the time. It needs to be specific about your product and purchase intent. Very important. AI will seek the truth. The truth leads to recommendations, and it is not a blanket, everyone gets the same recommendation. This is the future we're in. If you are not in the conversation, you literally have no chance of being found by LLMs and cited by LLMs. This is the new important business strategy. All businesses need to adopt this strategy if they are going to be found. Products are no longer what the proposition is. It is distribution. Everybody now, with the age of AI and what they can do and what they can produce, let alone code-based software, which is easy, but even products and product advancement, it will come down to marketing. How do you sell this product? Everyone's got a product. How do you get it to market? So just to summarize everything. Basically, the world has changed radically since the introduction of AI. The usage rate of personalised LLMs is now far outstripping any other form of information. It is now not one central form of let's go to Google, let's go to Facebook. You have got a whole world you now need to compete with, and the tool to do it is owning the conversation. If you can seed the field for the future, it will help your business now with SEO, because the field has been seeded with pages that are still traditionally SEO'd, but it's planting the seed for the future. Your conversation about your brand and your product will be found and cited if it's on the net and you have a good product and it's the truth. So this is a great advantage for all companies that are already in the marketplace that need to adapt. They will have an advantage, but small companies that just did not have that push can now overtake larger companies very, very simply if they understand the AI strategies and the way AI actually works. So thanks for your time. If any further information, feel free to contact me. I'm Dave, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.
Yes, so back up here now. Basically, I just ran that warts and all. I haven't got the fastest internet connection in this room here. So I just wanted to show you that presentation. If you think that presentation would be something that your business would want, contact me and I can talk about AI assistance with you. I can talk about creating one for you that you can then show your sales team. It is definitely the starting point. The bare minimum is everyone at least needs an AI assistant that you can control simply by changing the database and the knowledge file so it will answer instantaneously your information. We can go all sorts of levels, up to all sorts of complicated outputs, but that is basically the future of marketing. So if you are interested, feel free to contact me. This mosquito is driving me crazy, but I'm going to keep this in the video because it's quite funny anyway. Okay, all right, bye. I'm Dave. I will catch you again. Sorry I haven't pasted more videos. I've been very busy coding. I will continue to code. I will continue to make videos when I can. And please feel free to contact me if you are interested in anything AI or you've got some questions. Okay, I'll catch you in the next one.